What's up, Internet? It's Will Shocker on a mission to shock the world with fantastic content. And today, um, I'm making a video where I'm just going to talk over some gameplay. And I'd like to talk about my ideas and my future and invite you along to take part in it. So, who am I and what do I want? um, I am a small developer. I'm working on a game. I'm a writer. I'm working on a book. And I am a business owner working on my social media presence. And I am a little stuck because I struggle with consistency. And I've made a lot of progress. I mean, my routine has leveled up insofar as I am able to consistently do work, which never used to be the case. I used to be very undisciplined. And one of the things I'm working on is just adding more things to my routine, doing something new every day. Well, not something new, but doing the same thing every day. Um, and that's been something that I've been working on for several years. This is not something that happened overnight. And if I could offer one message to the world, it would be to start as small as you can. Because if you're going to be into something for the long haul, you have to be willing to start with baby steps. Like, let's say working out, for example. You don't want to go to the gym and do 5 sets of 12 rep exercises for 15 different body parts because you're just going to burn out, right? So I've been thinking about this idea of 1 minute win. And I think I'm just going to try to figure out what I'm going to call this strategy. But right now I'm calling it the 1 minute win. And the idea here is if you want to pick up something that you're going to stick with over the long haul, something you're going to do every day, then you want to start with 1 minute of whatever that is. Let's say you want to write a book. You want to not think about writing the whole book. What you want to do is think about spending 1 minute a day writing one or two sentences and then stretch that out over 20 years, or 10 years or 5 years or however long it takes you. Because this gives you a lot of flexibility. It gives you a minimum action that you're going to take for the day. And if you can define what the bare minimum is going to be, then you're most likely going to be able to do it. So my approach to working out has been to do 1 set to failure with my biceps and my chest press, and then that's going to be like my bare minimum that I do for that day. It's just 1 set to failure, biceps and chest. And then if I feel like doing extra, then I'll do 1 set to failure of squats or 1 set to failure of tricep extensions or something like that. But this also applies to my writing my book, where I do a little bit of my book before going to bed. This applies to my learning Japanese, where I learn a little bit of Japanese before going to bed. And this applies to making my game, where I do a little bit of programming first thing in the morning. And so the next thing I'm adding to my routine is YouTube and social media in general, and just creating more social media content, because that's going to be the biggest opportunity for me to grow, both as an individual and as a entrepreneur. Gosh, I hate calling myself that. So that's my idea. I've been talking for about 5 minutes. I hope I have gotten my point across that a 1 minute win is what you want to go for. And something I think I'm going to do is set up some sort of like strategic blueprint or like a guide or some of my thoughts about what it means to take a 1 minute win and what it means to build a routine that you're going to stretch out over a long time, because I think that's something that a lot of people really need. I especially needed it, um, as a young person, as somebody with very little clear direction, and as somebody who has yet to, totally have it all figured out. What really helped me start to feel like maybe I was getting somewhere was just by starting small and just, taking little nibbles, not even bites, just nibbles out of an activity, and slowly and gradually acclimating myself to the possibility of maybe spending 1 or 2 minutes on this thing that I want to get done. And I feel like if you're a long term procrastinator, if you're the type of person that, struggles with consistency and struggles with discipline, um, then you may want to take that advice to heart, because here's what really happens. Um, and I think I am going to actually make this into something that I can market and sell to people, because I think it's just so valuable. But here's what happens when you spend 5 years, 10 years, 15 years doing whatever you feel like doing. Your brain, you have to remember your brain is a muscle, right? Your brain is a muscle. And every time you do something, it strengthens the muscle a little, and then it strengthens some more, and it strengthens some more, and strengthens some more, and soon you have a very strong lack of discipline, for lack of a better term. Your lack of discipline is very strong in your brain, and now you have to slowly work towards unraveling that bad habit and slowly, very, very slowly, adding a new habit in its place. And since it's something you're doing for the very first time and you don't have any experience with it, nothing to fall back on, you don't have a very strong muscle built towards doing this one thing, um, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to start. They say just start, just start, just start. But what if, getting to the point of starting is just so painful and so hard and so, stressful and anxiety inducing? Because there are people that deal with that. There are people that struggle with that. So, the idea here is you want to take whatever the goal is, whatever the activity is, and you want to reduce it to a bite-sized little tiny nibble out of that activity. It's like you're not going to stuff a bunch of broccoli down your throat. You're going to take a little tiny broccoli leaf and very easily, gently uh, nibble at the broccoli. um, let's say taking a walk, for example, because I got started with walking when I started my weight loss journey. I started with walking. Um, it can be a lot to try to walk for 10 minutes every day. That sounds like a lot. That sounds like more than what is realistically feasible for somebody with zero discipline. But what might be more feasible for somebody with no discipline at all might be 1 minute of walking. Just walk around in circles in your house for 1 minute and then you're done for the day, right? That gives you an easy objective, an easy reward. And then, if you do that for a week, you've got 1 minute of walking done for that week. Maybe even give it 2 weeks. Do it 2 weeks, 1 minute a day. And then on week 3, you can do 2 minutes. And week 6 or week 5, you can do 3 minutes. So, yeah, that's the plan. Start with 1 minute. Do a couple weeks of 1 minute. And then work your way up to 2 minutes. And then work your way up to 3 minutes. Because you're not going to be able to start with an hour. I'm sorry, you've been slacking for 5 years. Your brain is not ready for that. It's a very strong muscle. You have a very strong muscle towards the things that you're, predisposed to do throughout the day. And it's going to feel like it's a really heavy weight to lift, a little bit to go out of your way a little bit just for some far off distant goal that doesn't really, feel like it's anywhere near where you are currently. For example, I still have 100 pounds of weight to lose. And I've been trying to lose the same 100 pounds of weight for like 2 years. 3 years, actually. 3 years it's been. And I'm getting somewhere. I have lost 10 pounds in the past year, which is not nothing. Okay? But if I didn't do that previous 3 years of work and trial and error and figuring it out, I probably wouldn't have lost 10 pounds in the past year. So I'm not an expert. Take it with a grain of salt. But if it helps get somebody started with just doing 1 minute a day, 1 minute a day, it's so small and so simple and so tiny and so easy that even the most undisciplined person ever could at least do 1 minute a day. And then you could start with that. And once you've gotten your minute done, you're done. You've had your win for the day. And then you get to celebrate that you did something good for yourself. And then you can repeat it again the next day, preferably at the same time as the time that you did the previous day. For example, when I go to bed at around 7 o'clock, 7:30 p.m., I always do a little bit of writing in my book. This is just non-negotiable. Always. It never not happens. Never mind. So I always write. Always before bed. And my book is still being written. And I'm probably going to be continuing to write my book for another year. Maybe even 2 years. Maybe 3 years. Who cares? And if it takes me 5-10 years to write my book, then, oh well, it took me a long time. But I'm pretty sure I'll be done within a year or two, if I keep going at it consistently for a few minutes a day. I'm not doing an hour a day. An hour a day is a lot. But 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, that's what I do. And if it gets me somewhere, then that's great. It's gotten me somewhere that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So that's my video for the day. I've only got about 5 minutes left of time, so I'll go ahead and wrap things up. Leave a comment if you have anything to say, any input, any questions, and I will be sure to check them out. Remember to like the video if you liked it. Remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because if you want to follow me on this journey, then it would be prudent to continue watching my videos. Not that I think anybody will really watch this. I mean, I'm sure somebody will, but that's just, that's my message. My whole thing is make it as easy for yourself as you possibly can. Even if it has to be like not even going for a walk, even if it's just like putting on your shoes, maybe that's small enough. Maybe that's small enough to go out of your way, Not everybody is good at going out of their way to do stuff that they don't feel like doing. So, yeah, that'll be it.